The following program may contain adult language and mature subject matter and does not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of Reality Radio 101, its advertisers and sponsors, or its listening audience. Listener discretion is advised. Good evening, and welcome to the Heikadelic Show, right here on Reality Radio 101. To contact us live right now, send us an email. Our email address is instudio101@gmail.com. And now, right to your host of the Heikadelic Show, Heikomantic.
How's everybody doing, man? This is awesome. The Heikadelic Show.
Heikadelic.
Well done there, G.
Yeah. So all you listeners out there, the guys up beside me are co-hosts Terry and Johnny Ringo, and down below we have our fabulous producer Gary, and then the music guru we got George Andrew. How's everybody doing, man? It's nice to see you.
Pal,
Good.
Yeah, we're all right.
So we've got to help show how excited are you boys tonight. I know I'm stoked.
Yeah, this is going to be awesome.
A lot of fun.
So we have coming on. We have Ratcliffe Turpin from the House of Haunt. So we're going to spend a little bit of time with him, and then of course the Neon Dreamer, Deanna, is going to talk about what she does, and we're very stoked. And she's going to be doing some intuitive readings, we'll call them, spiritual connection, and a bit of that sort of stuff. So if you're a listener out there or watcher, please email the studio. It's on the banner below. It's instudio101@gmail.com. Or you can simply chat, and we will get that up on the board. And I guess it'll look something like this.
Nice.
Does the carpet match? Okay, so there we go. We've just gone right to the.
Is she referring to Madhu? Because
I guess
my dreads down below totally match.
She's referring to your drapes.
But are they straight like that too?
Yes. It's same color, everything, just dreaded up.
Nice.
How the code rolls.
I'm scared already.
Me too.
Before we get any further into the show, I want to thank everybody that's with us, and I want you guys to join me in opening a drink and having a toast for our Halloween special.
Yeah.
Yes.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
Wait, where's the song?
Is the song coming?
We're not sure. We're always so prepared for this.
I think cheers.
Hell yeah.
Got my good German beer today, and we're good to go.
So we got a lot of people saying hello. So I just saying hello to everyone on out in Facebook land right now. There's a few of you still. Yes.
Yeah. There's quite a few. So Terry, I think you got to answer Sarah's question.
I just did.
Did you? Okay. What was the answer?
Where were you? I said it totally matches. My dreads are exact same color and everything down below as they are up top.
As soon as we talked about your dreads, Johnny just tuned out.
Yeah, he tuned out.
So there's Katie. So now we got to tone it down because niece Katie's on.
All right.
There you go. Love it.
All right,
so we're going
Katie's heard it all before.
We've got an extra long show tonight, an hour and a half, and
going to 11 tonight, folks.
Yeah. So
we've got 11.
We got a ton of comments. I'm going to try and stay up with that, and then of course, when Deanna's on, we want to get some readings happening and really engage our fans out there. So our listeners and watchers.
Cool. Very
let's
cool.
get Ratcliffe Turpin out here then from the House of Haunt and get that rolling.
Absolutely. I just see though, Kathy Harkness put something out, and I'm on her couch right now, actually. So say hi. Hey.
Hi, Kathy.
So she's congratulating Mr. Bobby Cousins out there because he tied the knot, and it's been all over his Facebook page, and he's super, super obviously in love. And some great shots out there. So congrats, Bobby. And so yeah, we're gonna go ahead, Hike.
No, I thought you were talking about foreskin or something tied to knot. I don't know.
No,
confused.
Okay. So anyway, moving along, we've got Mr. Ratcliffe Turpin, and we're going to. Don't be scared, folks. I mean, this is something that it might terrify you, but we're going to get him on the screen. Ratcliffe, it's okay out there.
I can hear you. How are you guys?
Whoa,
great.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get his mug up on the screen here so that we can.
There he is.
There he is.
A scary mofo right there.
I gotta ask you something. I gotta ask you something.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, Sarah.
How come your hands are flesh colored and your head's green? What the hell?
I decay slowly.
You decay slowly.
Very well said.
Yeah.
Nice. So let's actually chat. We were talking.
Decays quickly, right?
Yeah. You got that right.
There's George down there. Really got it. He has to get working on his memoirs, right, George?
Yeah.
I've been doing it all week.
I know. I bet you have.
You
know, I have to say before we get into this with Ratcliffe, George, I love that post you put up. You're so organized. I mean, you're really the rock and foundation of the Heikadelic Show now. So
brilliant. Put any work into it. Well done.
Yeah, you prepare. You prepare so we don't have to. Love it.
That's right. So the backbone of the Heikadelic Show, Mr. George Andrews.
I watched that little video you put on Facebook. It was pretty cool. Thanks, brother.
Nice.
Oh, no problem.
So,
no problem.
I want to get back to Ratcliffe here. So, brother, how did you come up with the name? I remember you were telling us before, but I've had a lot of beers and smoked a lot of weed since then. So I need a refresher.
So Ratcliffe, I kept it Canadian, and Ratcliffe was the nickname of the first Canadian executioner. So,
nice.
I thought I'd take that name, and then I mixed the last name of the last person executed in Canada, and his name was Turpin. So,
okay, right. Okay, I knew it was something along those lines. I couldn't quite remember. Ringo and I were chatting the other day, and I said, let's ask him on the show again. That's a good, because I remember it being kind of a cool story to it. So right on.
Cool story. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, so as far as House of Haunt, you guys are. I know you've still played a few shows during COVID and everything. So how are the shows? How is it for you guys playing in such a weird kind of time?
It's kind of crazy. We're playing roughly one show a month, and it's a lot different. We try and make the shows a little different. We've been adding different. We've been adding different things like movies and quizzes and stuff just to draw it out instead of just a show you get, or just a band, you get a whole show, one of a kind show that nobody else is doing.
Yep.
Well, I think the origin of your name is pretty cool, or your character. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then your shows, I remember that, Derek, because you guys, Radcliffe, because you invited Motor City
You told
Maniac.
everyone who Superman is. Good going.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I now people are going to knock on your door. Are you Radcliffe? Are you really Radcliffe? But I remember you offering MCM a show, and I think Terry Tears of a Deity a show as well. So, yeah, that's amazing. You guys were rocking it, and all of a sudden COVID hit, and shut the doors pretty much on everybody. So, but you're definitely keeping the flame going. And was that a creepy door opening somewhere?
Yes,
I don't know.
It's behind me. Guaranteed
Nice.
That's coming from behind me. I'm getting rushed on this show tonight.
Terry's undoing the button on his pants.
Right.
Yeah, it sounds like a creaking door.
Nice.
You might hear some bats fly out of there as well. Just watch out for all the spider webs.
Well,
all right, so yeah, because you would actually, we were supposed to play with you guys. Was that in March or April or something?
It was. I think. Well, I can't remember. It was the Atria. I think it might have probably been in June or something then.
Well, okay, then I was way off.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't remember. I don't know because it would have been. We were supposed to go on tour in July.
Right.
And it was literally. It would have been one of the last shows we played before we went on tour.
Sure.
Right, and then of course COVID was still well in full tilt, and bars weren't allowed in anything. So yeah.
Well, that's sad.
At least
apparently I would have missed it anyways.
Our last show was the 18th, and that was the last day pretty much. They shut everything else down the next day, right?
Right.
Yep. So we were lucky we got to play with the Brains then, and in Hamilton at This Ain't Hollywood.
So how's the band doing though? Like how are your guys managing through the abyss of COVID?
Pretty good. Everybody's got their own little things they do. Like our keyboardist, the Red Duke, he beats people with axes. Like
that's pretty nice.
Literally, they dress up like medieval and they beat each other. Fang, he likes to go out and cook and have a lot of spiritual time out in the wilderness and stuff.
Nice.
Me, I like to smoke weed and shoot stuff and drive dirt bikes and stuff like that.
All at the same time.
And then, you got Skull. He likes classic cars, so he always likes to go on cruises and stuff. He's got an old Rambler.
Nice.
So right on.
Ratcliffe, if we're gonna send you back to the green room shortly, and we have Deanna coming up from Neon Dreamer, but absolutely. And just real quick, because you guys have that sort of haunting vibe out there, what's the craziest shit you've run into playing live or even getting to the gig?
That could be a
Ratcliffe to the gig. Yeah.
One of the craziest things that I remember, we were playing with some death metal bands, and we're talking real death metal bands. And we went into the change room, and these guys are like, you can't come in here. And okay, because they were doing their ritual, right? And we looked in the room after, man, and it was covered in pig blood, real blood. Man.
Sacrificing. Wow, that's hardcore.
Well, I don't know if they were sacrificing, but they were doing shit with the blood. And then they were when they played, I went up after, right? Because I'm playing drums after, and the guy's I'm like, you want me to help you tear down your kit? And he's like, no, man. He goes, don't even step here, man. He's a vegetarian. He's a vegan. And he's like, man, I just joined this band. They're pretty popular and shit, but fuck. He's like, I don't know, man. I got pig blood on me. I'm not into this shit.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pretty insane.
Yeah.
Okay, so
man. Holy crap.
Ratcliffe, we'll get you back in a little bit, and if you want to divulge your true self, feel free to pop the mask off, but I'll leave that one to you because you are a superhero, and allegedly you're a good friend of I guess Derek Biggs, who's one of our avid and consistent contest winners, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna be in tonight.
There you go. Good for you.
I hope so.
All right, so thanks, Ratcliffe, and we'll see you in a little bit. So before we get going, George, trivia, real quick. Deanna's on like now, but we'll if you want to start with the trivia real quick, we'll get one out there.
What I thought we'd do quickly, rather than answer straight away, just pick one answer, because I'll give you some options and stick with it and see if anyone else comes in with them from the audience, right?
Sure.
Okay, so you mentioned Monster Mash, Bobby Pickett and the Pickets, or Crypt Kickers, right? Last week. So here's a title for you. This is a real thing. It actually exists. But what is it? Okay, so Monster Mash Party. Okay, Monster Mash Party. Yeah. Is it A, the follow-up to Monster Mash? B, is it a movie? Or C, is it the B-side to Monster Mash? So I'll read it. Don't give me the answers.
I know the answer.
Okay, well, just stick with it. Let's see if anyone else comes up with it.
Let's do one out of it. Yeah.
So it's Monster Mash Party. Is it A, the follow-up to Monster Mash, B, a movie, or C, the B-side to Monster Mash? There you go. So we'll leave that one out there for now.
Awesome. Thanks, George. So we're going to get Deanna in, and George, I'm going to put you in the green room for a little bit, and everybody's going to, I guess, let that percolate your the trivia. So, thanks. We'll see you in a bit.
Okay.
Deanna, how are you?
Hi guys, I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Great. Welcome to the show. Deanna has her own show called the Facebook page, Neon Dreamer. You can find her on there. But are you still broadcasting through what was it, UT radio?
CIUT 89.5 in Toronto. You can check them out online too if you're listening online. You can go to ciut.fm and you can hear that radio station there. It's affiliated with U of T. It's but it's not just like
competition. We have to bleep you out.
Oh yeah.
I'm only kidding.
Yeah, go ahead, Dee.
Oh no. So Neon Dreamer is my radio show. It used to be a phone-in show. I mean, it still kind of is a phone-in show, but since we can't broadcast out of the radio station, or like we can't go into the studio at the radio station anymore, I have to pre-record all of my shows. But people can still like send in all their questions and stuff like that.
So more like a podcast now. You pre-record it and they put it in rotation, or
yeah. But I like doing this because I miss live radio
it's definitely a different animal for sure.
This is the you can get with the Heikadelic Show. Let me tell you.
Absolutely. So
yeah.
So okay, so we got a lot of ground to cover here. And I understand that you might do some readings for some of our listeners, watchers. The best way to do that is to send us an email at instudio101@gmail.com, or simply send us live on Facebook or YouTube, text in, and we'll get that right on the screen and we can interact that way. The phones are down tonight, so we're not going to go that route, but Deanna feels comfortable with being able to do the emails and the chats. So that's exciting. And Deanna, this has been a build-up. So on Reality Radio, I don't know, Gary, if you can give us a number, but we're probably sitting around 4,500 to 5,000 listeners out there, and they're audio, so they don't get to really see things, but they can certainly email in. And then we've got obviously the other socials like Facebook and YouTube, where they can people can live interact. So thanks again for being here. Yep.
Yeah, for Deanna, what she needs from people is their name and the city they're in. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's it. And of course, your question. And the questions can be as detailed or as vague as you like. Just keep in mind sometimes the more general the question, the more general the answer or not. Like sometimes we'll get real specific. So it's okay. You can go either, in any direction. I have a
question. Yeah? I don't mean to interrupt you, but we get this for our other psychic show that is on Reality Radio 101, WW. They always say, and this is not a psychic situation where they say, give me the lottery numbers. You've had that before a million times. And
you know what? Less so.
How do you answer
Well,
that?
I guess the standard response would be like, if I knew, honey, do you think I'd be doing this job?
Right.
Yeah.
Why would I? And if I knew what I tell you, I know. Like that's not it. But
No,
I mean,
a lot of people do that, right? And that's not really what a psychic is per se. And people do that all the time, though. They always want to know the winning or how am I going to do this or that. And you're right. You'd say if I knew that, I wouldn't be doing psychic reading.
You know what? People don't really ask that question at all. You think they would, but they don't.
Right,
because more,
Deanna, what are the lottery numbers for 619?
Yeah. Well, you know what, guys? It's really it's not about that. I mean, I've met spiritualists. I know some executives that in fact use them as guides to help make key decisions and life planning and coaching. It's pretty amazing, and it spans across so you're I've met let's say a medium who was an absolute millionaire at a very young age, right? Had nothing to do with a lot of, and Deanna's the expert, but a lot of spiritualists and psychics will consult with spirit guides, and there are different means, obviously, and Deanna can explain all of that. But what I can say is when Deanna and I met, it was very, very interesting. I actually met her up in the Kensington Market area and in Toronto. And I happened to go in looking for a crystal. And so she walked right up to me, if I recall, and it wasn't because I have a voice of an angel and I'm just a handsome guy, but maybe part of it. But I think
Ringo.
She sensed something. And what did you call it? A vibe, right, Deanna?
Yeah, you had a vibe. There was definitely an air.
Yeah, well, I guess yeah.
An air.
Oh, it's an air now.
I know that. I've spent time with them too.
Yeah, I call it the Ringo swagger, actually.
All right, we call it something else altogether.
No, but for some reason I felt like you could feel things too. I could just tell that you were a little bit sensitive in the store. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and the concept with crystals. I mean, they always say that crystals will choose you. And I think you kind of reinforced that. But it was definitely interesting, and you're absolutely right. Like, I mean, I may not have some gifts there, but it's not something I practice. But I'm open. I'm very open, and I think everyone. My daughter, in fact, is she's going to be a doctor someday. She's taking health science, so she's very analytical but on the science side of things, she said to me, Dad, it's really all about energy, right? And so she's open to possibilities as well. But I think when Deanna and I first met, it was definitely interesting connection, and we ended up I think talking like almost a year later, and we just started to discuss some pretty heavy psychic stuff. But anyway, am I putting you to sleep?
I just got a message from a listener that says, "Hurry up, Ringo! Shut up! They want to talk to her."
Yeah, that's Kathy.
There's some interesting questions here.
All she cares about is getting a reading, honestly. But okay.
But But yeah, so we met Ringo in a crystal shop in the basement of a crystal shop, and I worked in a few places. You know, right now I mostly just work from home. I work in this box right here, and but I worked in this crystal shop, and a crystal shop is an interesting place because someone in the questions here was asking about, do crystals amplify your energy? It's like, yeah, crystals bring a lot of energy. They bring their own energy. They amplify other crystals. They amplify you. They amplify everything. And so to be, in the basement or like situated in like a place where there's thousands of crystals, it's like it can call in all different kinds of energy. And to be doing readings there all the time, and especially underground, always kind of gave me the heebie-jeebies a little bit. I like part of me is a little embarrassed. Part of me is a little embarrassed because
sound effects. Don't worry about that. We're playing all kinds of sound effects. It's all right.
Oh, that's okay. So I'm a little bit embarrassed sometimes where it's like I talk to dead people, right? But still, it doesn't mean it's not like creepy sometimes to me. Even I have to remind myself if I'm ever in like an eerie type situation, I have to be like, wait, pull yourself together, woman. You're a professional. but the basement of this crystal shop always kind of gave me like weird vibes, and I had Ringo come down and take a look. I'm like, you're sensitive. Do you notice anything in here? And yeah, right.
Right.
You agree?
Yeah, we're not going to get into that story because it's probably a little bit too.
That's all you need to know. There's definitely vibes in there.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
That's cool. If you look at your screen right now, Deanna's screen looks like she's got the Heikadelic Show poster up on her wall. That's cool.
Yeah. That's right there. There you go. There we go.
Nice. So what Kathy is asking, what's the creepiest reading that you've done?
The creepiest reading that I've done. Oh, yeah, I can think. I can think of a few. The creepiest one, I don't really like. I don't want to invoke the energy of that reading. Like, there's sometimes you get people. There's all kinds of people. Some people come to spirituality because they want insight. They want connection. They're looking for hope and light. They're trying to get out of the darkness and like move towards something more better, for lack of a better word, right? They're trying to this upward movement. But some people, like that death metal band that was mentioned before, I think some people want to work with darker forces, and that's not my scene. I don't work with dark energy, and some folks are into that, but that's not really my path at all.
I wouldn't recommend it either, to be honest with you. Anybody looking to get into energy work, I would avoid any dark energy. It opens too many doors to bad things.
Exactly. And so sometimes when people come to me, they're like, oh yeah, I practice magic. I'm like, cool. I don't practice like practical magic. That I'm more of a seer, reader, healer, that kind of thing. And so sometimes when I realize that someone is like deep into dark magic, and I'm like, and I'm halfway through a reading with them, and then I see kind of like what they've been working with, that's the kind of stuff that I don't really like. But that doesn't really happen very often. I think most of those people, have their own scene that they go towards, but it can tend to be sometimes like, that can be some of the creepiest stuff. But recently, the other day, I'll tell you a ghost story, or kind of a creepy story. I've been doing lots of readings online, so obviously because COVID. And one of the readings, I was in Ireland a few days ago, like 2 days ago. I was in Ireland, and I was doing a reading for these two girls over Zoom, and by the time when I started doing the reading for one of they're in the same house but different rooms in the same house. They're using different computer screens, and I started doing a reading for one of the girls. I had my hand on my crystal ball. Here's my crystal ball. I had my hand on my crystal ball, and I was, I started to do the reading. I was kind of trying to find her and connect with her, but then all I felt was like a poking, like someone poking me like in the head, and I was trying to find her, and it was really like kind of cloudy, and there was like a poking in my head, and I'm like, there's somebody in the way. And I could feel that there was someone in the room with her. Even while we were doing our opening, I like invoked spirits and I could feel somebody present. But then when I started the reading, they were poking me in the head. I'm like, what the heck? And then when I put my hand on the crystal ball, I felt them poking me in the hand and then poking me in the jaw every time I try to speak. And I just couldn't get the reading done. I'm like, look, there is someone in your room. I need you to go to the living room. You have to go to some other room in your house. And so she got up, she moved. And the energy was gone, but like the spirit was still like a big part of our reading, and the fact that there was something living in her bedroom, and it was Ireland. So Ireland is a really kind of spooky, mystical place. Like it's like like the whole country is haunted, and so yeah, the house was like 150 years old, and like there was bound to be something in there, and so that was my most recent kind of ghost encounter, and no joke, I've been having a headache like right here, like where they poked me in the head has been hurting for a couple of days. I'm not kidding. I had a migraine for a couple of days after, and it was the two spots where they had like jabbed me in the head, and I'm like, ugh.
Nice.
That's interesting.
How do you feel about? I guess it looks like Craig Stacy was trying to send in an email. Looks like there's a reading there, a request, and then. Rio is Tanya from Ajax, and she's looking to offering up to read. And then Kathy, of course, has me on her casting coach, and she wants a reading as well.
Yeah.
So, but would you like to start with one? And I think though before we'll start with Craig. And Craig was sending in, I think, an email to In Studio 101. So Gary, I don't know if you've got something from a Craig there in terms of what if they've got a specific ask. But Craig did ask a question: is a big pink salt rock with a light helping me see?
Well, if the room is dark, I imagine that it would probably help you see a little bit. Those salt lamps, that's what you're talking about, the Himalayan salt lamp. And I take it you're probably asking, like, are they helping me see like your third eye kind of stuff? Is that what you mean?
Right. Yeah,
well, the salt lamps, salt in general is really good at like protection. Generally, we use salt to keep spirits away. When you have the lamp in there and you heat up the salt, it creates like ions in the room, and that just helps to purify the air as well. So they are sort of a cleansing thing. We use salt to cleanse and to protect. So if anything, the salt lamp is going to provide you with a little more clarity, like energetic clarity. But in terms of like amplifying your vision, I would say that it's probably just neutral. But I mean, it's like just imagine your third eye being like a windshield, right? If it's all clouded and dirty, then you're gonna have a hard time seeing. Sometimes what you really need, if it's dark outside, you're still gonna need your headlights, right? You're gonna need the headlights to see. But the salt lamp is kind of more like the windshield wiper that might like clear it up a little bit, make it better for you to see, but it's not going to necessarily give you a deeper vision.
So Deanna, the salt then is for protection. So to amplify though, that would be more of a crystal thing, right?
Yeah.
And so, but definitely in terms of protection, I know from my ghost hunting days, and I was on Deanna's show, I think, what was it, last year or the year before? I can't recall.
This time last year, maybe?
Yeah. But that's definitely used for threshold barriers and whatnot. So,
well, I mean, as far as like any kind of, if you're worried about something physically attacking you or spiritually attacking, you want to be working on grounding or psychic self-defense that I've always myself used. And actually, another thing regarding those salt lamps, make sure it's real. Because there's a lot of fake salt lamps out there, and the only way you can test it, lick it. You'll taste it. You'll taste the salt. That's
true.
It's true. It's actually true. I didn't know that. I was reading about it. I was like, I wonder how true that is. So I actually had one. I mean, sure enough, gave it. Yeah, it tastes like salt. That's how you actually know. But there are some fake ones out there too.
No, and Terry tested by listening.
What do they taste like?
Every year, but
salt. That's what you're tasting is salt.
So back to Craig. Did Craig send out an email in terms of a read? Anything specific, like any area of that we want to have covered here?
I don't think
Or-
so. That was
or
the,
is it
I think
just-
that was the only question I seen from him.
No, that was it.
Okay, so Deanna, is that reading or saying something to Craig? Would that work, or do they need to give you another
Sure. What is what is the question?
There is no real question except
Oh, he just
No,
wants a reading?
is it helping him
Yeah.
see? Yeah.
And he was looking for
Oh,
the
yeah.
email as well, so we were confirming that.
Yeah. So what is
But-
the email? You should give it out to people so they know. what
Yeah,
it
It's
is.
actually rolling across the bottom of
the
our screen here.
Oh, okay. instudio101@gmail.com.
Yes.
That's
So
the
anybody
one.
on reality radio, you just heard that. So
There you
email
go.
them. And we should
Right.
actually check with G if we have any emails too. We haven't checked since the show started.
Okay.
So we might want to check that out.
So how about before we do the spirit work, why don't we do a little bit of an opening? When I work with my clients, when I have people come in before we do readings, I like to do an opening so we can kind of like open the gate, and then when we're done, we can close it so nothing
Sounds great.
lingers in my
Sounds great.
apartment.
Or ours, right?
Right.
Like,
Or
yeah.
your apartments. Yeah. Like you got to remember that we might be online. We might be using Zoom. Like a lot of questions I do get is like, is the internet actually can you still do your work online? And one, I have a radio show, Neon Dreamer, if you want to check it out, neondreamer.com. But I have a radio show. So I have been doing readings over the phone for like for 3.5 years, basically. So I have a lot of experience with that. But the question about the computer, a lot of people think that the computer is inherently like a soul sucking kind of device, right? It can't be spiritual because it's technology. Technology is not spiritual. But I guess and so crystals, right, are just another kind of technology. And computers are like, if anything, portals for light, right? Light and energy. Actually, electrons, like light is emitting out of our screen. There's sound energy that's coming out of there. So why this wouldn't also transmit whatever other kind of energy is kind of exuding off of us? I mean, of course, computers are full of crystals. They're full of not magic, but like, well, I guess magic if you want to call it that. But they're full of precious metals. They're full of different kinds of crystals. There's all kinds of energy that is traveling through them all the time. Of course, they're going to transmit, the same kind of vibe. And so I found that doing these readings online has been like very effective. And so yeah, we're totally able to do this. But before we begin, I like to do an opening, if that's cool.
Sure.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
We're gonna zoom you up so we can get a good look. Here we go. Go
All
for
right,
it.
let me get right in here. So we're just gonna begin. I'm gonna ring the bell. So all right, so everybody listening, I want you, if it's safe to do so, you can close your eyes. And as the sound of the bell begins to settle, I want you to settle into your seat, feeling yourself connect to the earth. And we're going to breathe in from that place of connection. And as we breathe in, we draw energy into our body up from the earth. And on the exhale, we release tension, any holding we might have. Breathing in, we fill our body with light. And exhaling, we let go of old habits, old patterns, and old ways of being. Breathing in, we expand and we make room for something new. And exhaling, we allow ourselves to let go as we settle into the earth. And I'd like to welcome you now to this new open space that we have all created together. I'd like to thank you for joining me with curious minds and open hearts and the intention to explore the unknown together with me. I'd like to welcome all the guides and the spirits and the ancestors that join us in our work. We thank them for their wisdom, their protection, their support, and the light that they shine on our path. I'd like to thank our spaces for containing us, the earth for nurturing and supporting us, the sun for warming us, and the moon for lighting our way through the darkness. All right, I'm ready. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm real relaxed now, not gonna lie.
Yeah, it's kind of my
shed
superpower.
My hair and everything now. It's gone. Like, look at this.
Okay, so Craig Stacy, he just wanted to know something, right? So let's take a look. Let's take a look what we got for Craig. I'm just going to pull a few cards for Craig. I'm going to show you my table that we're working with here. So for everybody who's watching online, you can take a look at my table. And we're just sort of cut the deck for Craig. And Craig, if you're out there, I want you to join me now. And we're going to breathe together wherever you are. All right. It's important that we breathe together while you're listening so that we can both get on the same kind of wavelength and to connect here. So breathe in with me, Craig. And letting go. Everyone can breathe. Let's all breathe. And releasing. So I'm going to look for Craig. See if I can find him out there. And we're going to pull 3 cards for you. I'm just going to see what they say. Okay? Since there's no question, we'll just see what there is for you. We have the 4 of Cups. There you go. Facebook, you can see it. 4 of Cups. And then we have the 6 of Wands and the Queen of Cups. Okay. And the way I do my readings, I just put my hands on the cards and I put my other hand on the crystal ball and I just kind of grip onto both of them. And I close my eyes and I look for you. Let's find you out there. This is my first one, so you got to give me a second to warm up. Okay, there you are, kiddo. All right. Oh, man, don't be so sad. Let's see here. Where are you? I know sometimes, I know you've had a lot of disappointments or can feel that way or it feels like things don't really work out, but I don't want you to get stuck on the idea that things are never going to work out. Okay, that is... if you want to think about manifestation in the way, I'm not like a huge, I don't lecture people on you got to manifest. But the one thing you do have to watch out for is, even if you're not trying to make anything happen, you got to watch out for what you might unconsciously be making happen, right? And really focusing on the disappointments, the things that have not shown up for us, the things that didn't work out, and things, oh, it's never going to work out. Well, things are never going to work out. Yeah, well, not with that attitude, right? Whether or not it's like you're cursed or you just have bad luck, right? I think it's about keeping your eyes open for what is good in your life. And I don't want to just be Pollyanna about it, like, silver lining of bad situations. But really, I think what would be a really big help for you is to really count your blessings. Not that you should, just for the sake of gratitude. I mean, that's good too. But I mean, for you, counting your blessings will show you how much light and what you actually have. And to count those blessings is to start to focus on the blessings, focus on the richness that you already have, focus on the things that already have worked out, and then that in itself will make you feel more abundant, right? As opposed to just focusing on what you don't have. Well, yeah, of course you're gonna feel the lack if all you look at is the lack. So that's the 4 of Cups for you. 6 of Wands. Let's see, what else do we have here? You're on the precipice of something big. I know you kind of have a big idea, like you have an idea of you really want to get started. I don't know what it is. It's either a business idea or like maybe you want to go back to school. There's something for you right now that you want to try, something kind of big. You're thinking about doing it, but this fear of, oh man, nothing ever works out. Is it even worth trying? It's like, yeah, absolutely it's worth trying for you. I think this, whatever you're thinking about right now, is a good idea. It's a good idea. You know, why is it a good idea? Because it's different. If anything, it's different from what you've been doing this whole time, you know, which is not a whole lot. And yeah, it seems like a big risk or a big leap for you, kind of out of your comfort zone. And some people might be telling you not to do it, or to like, that'll never work, or who do you think you are, or whatever that is. It's like, no, man. No, no, it can and it will, if you allow yourself to believe it. Don't stop yourself before you even start. And I think you should go forward. And a part of you moving forward with this new idea, this new project, or whatever it is partly to let go of all the people who told you can't. And they've been saying stuff like that your whole life. And I think it's not your fault that you kind of had this like doubting Debbie kind of vibe. I think you've learned it. I think it's been taught to you. I think you've been told this. And so you kind of have to unlearn it, you know? And I believe you can. Let me be the first one to say that. I believe in you. Okay? And I think you really ought to. So Queen of Cups here is the last card. It's not just me. I'm not the only one. I think there's one other person in your life. It feels like a female energy, or a feminine energy, but you do have support. You do have there is someone in your corner. And even if you have one person who believes in you, right? One person who sees you for what you really are, right? For who you really are and who you could be if you just allowed yourself to be. I think that right there is the first blessing you should start with counting. All right. You start there, and you believe them when they tell you, you know, that they have faith in you. And I know they say things like, oh, you got to learn to love yourself before anyone else can love you. That's hard, you know, and I think you should take this love that you can receive from somebody else, even if it's just a friend, even if it's whatever, take that love and learn how to do it. Okay. Copy what they're doing and say that to yourself. And then maybe one day you'll start to believe it. Okay. And because, you know, I believe it.
So Deanna,
that's cool. Very
that's
cool.
great. Craig actually says, you know, very, very cool. Thank you. So Craig, if you have any more feedback, or if something was compelling or stood out, text us back and just let us know how it went. Mm-hmm. So we're going to move along, Deanna, to someone else here. Sure. And we've got a lot of comments and things to sort of catch up with, but
I want to say shout out to Scotty. Hey, Scotty. He's a regular from my other show.
Yeah,
Hi,
we noticed him pop on. So that's Scotty E. Peters. So Rio is asking, so it's Tanya from Ajax. Tell me anything and everything. So I guess maybe we'll, you know, let's try reading her. Okay.
For Tanya, I'm going to do anything and everything. We'll do a mind, body, spirit for Tanya, just to be a little more focused, I think, for Tanya. So shuffling the cards, I'm going to cut them. All right. So I'm going to pull 3 cards for Tanya. Mind is, oops, is this one card? Yeah, here we go. We have the 8 of Wands for Tanya. Oh, you can see that. Oh, it's too bright. There you go. 8 of Wands. We have the 3 of Swords. And so that's mind, body, and spirit is the 5 of Wands. Okay. And so for everyone on internet Facebook land, so this is my cards, and what I do is I put my hand here and I put my other hand on the crystal ball. And Tanya and Ajax, I want you to just take 2 breaths with me. Okay. Everyone can breathe too, but especially Tanya. So breathing in and letting go. Breathing in and releasing. All right, Tanya. Let's see here. All right. Here we go. So there you are. So this first part, when I do the breathing and the crystal ball, I have my eyes closed. And really what I'm trying to do is first kind of locate you where you're at. And so to find you, it's kind of like getting inside of you a little bit. I know that sounds kind of creepy, but it's sort of what I have to do. It's to get inside your experience. So we'll start with the 8 of Wands. All right. Right. So for you, Tanya, I can feel like I see these 8 of Wands, and the 8 of Wands are you'll see them. It's like 8 wands, kind of like shooting all in the same direction. And for you, it can feel like you've been hammering away at the same sort of thing, like over and over and over again, like trying to get your point across or trying to get something through to somebody or whatever it is. I think there's been trying all different methods of trying to convince or change things, but all sort of in the same way, the same direction. And you've just been hammering away or whatever it is, grinding away, but it can definitely feel like you're not making tons of progress. And, whether or not it's trying to convince somebody of something, like it's whatever method or approach you're using is not going to work. Okay. It didn't work before. It's no matter how hard you keep doing it, no matter how hard you keep trying to hammer away at this thing, this is not the way in. Okay. I want you to stop right now and like think of another method. I mean, this obviously isn't working. I don't want you to waste any more time repeating this process or bang. It feels like you're just banging your head up against the wall. And I'm sure that's what it feels like right now. And whether or not it's give up altogether, like it's not going to work out, it's never going to happen for you, I don't think that is necessarily the case. But the method that you're using is definitely not going to work. So I'm going to take a look. We have body here. I'm going to see the 3 of Swords. I just kind of feel my way through these cards. Sometimes I do talk about what they mean, but mostly I just kind of use my hands to get a real sense of what's happening in them for you. So 3 of Swords. So if you're trying to repair something here, like to bridge a divide or to mend a relationship with other, and it feels like it's not necessarily your relationship you're trying to mend. It's almost like trying to get someone else, 2 other people to mend their fence or whatever however the saying goes. If you're trying to make 2 people come to terms with each other, or you're trying to convince one other person of someone else's position or whatever that is, like this is maybe your biggest, your first mistake, I guess, which is getting in the middle of other people's business. This is not really your place. Not to say that you have no right to do this, but it's not, you can't. There's nothing you can do to fix things between 2 other people, because that is between 2 other people, right? And even though you might be related to them, or you might even be a part of this scenario, what is actually wrong with the 2 of them is not what is on the surface level, okay? The conflict between the 2 of them might seem outwardly to be about one thing, but really it goes much, much deeper than that. So you try to convince them of like mending things, or like this isn't true, or you have to see things another way. Like you're missing the point, because that is not why they are not getting along or whatever. It goes so much deeper. And if you really want to start mending things, I mean, that goes deep into each of their personal stories and deeper into their like long history together. And so this one thing is not really the issue. Spirit, here we have the 5 of Wands. Kind of see what's there to do here. And I think this has been a long time coming. Let's say they are old friends or like brothers or whatever it is. Whatever this rift has been, it started a long, long, long time ago. And what they need right now is just space from each other. They need space from each other. They need space to just like, they almost need this fight. They don't want to make up, okay? They don't want to make up right now. And what they need is a little while, maybe like a year or a couple of years, so that they can do their own healing. This is the problem. They've been trying to stay together during rough times, right? They've been trying to stay together during rough times or through a lot of pain and stuff. And they've finally given an opportunity, right? This fight or whatever this excuse is, they've been given an opportunity to just spend some time apart. And they need that in order for them to do the deep healing, so they can finally actually come together in a real way, in a real holistic kind of approach where they've healed themselves, and only then can they heal their relationship, and they need the space. So you got to cool it All right, you just got to butt out for a minute, and you can deepen you can maintain a relationship with both of them, right? But don't try to force any kind of reconciliation right now. They can't. They're not ready for that. All right. So thanks, Tanya. I hope that helps. I know there was no real question, so it's always kind of weird for me.
Yeah, that was great. So I guess we should carry on a little bit. So we've got who else wanted one here? I'm just
if someone has like a specific question, like feel
Gary,
free to ask. Like,
do we have any emails that have come in?
Did we lose Gary?
I think we did. Gary's been trying to text us.
He's been trying to text you?
Yeah.
I got the text, yeah.
Ian has a question. There's a few people. So Kathy's been asking a few questions about my work. Is it okay if I just take a second to answer some of her questions?
Yeah.
Kathy's been asking a few things. So she asked, I'm going to go back up. So she has a few really good questions. Thanks, Kathy. Do you see spirits so first of all, do crystals amplify your abilities? Absolutely. My crystal ball, like that's why I use it. I don't gaze into it like you see in the movies. I do have one of those crystal balls. I don't know if you guys can see it. It's right there. It looks small in this picture, but it's 20 pounds. I have one of those massive 20-pound crystal balls that you see in the movies. Yeah, those you look into. But the crystal ball that I use right now is about the size of a softball, and it's quartz. It's just a piece of polished quartz. And the way I use it, like I said, I don't gaze into it, but I hold it in my hands. And I find that it just helps me to focus. It helps to amplify, some of the signal. And I don't reprogram it, as some people say, like I don't reset it ever. When in the before times, I used to get clients to put their hand on it as well. And their energy goes into it, and then I would take it back from them, and it kind of amplify someone else's energy toward me. And so this crystal has been touched by at least 1,000 people, and the online readings have been like hundreds of people online as well. And so that crystal is full of connections to other people all over the world. And when I put my hand on it, it kind of connects me to this web, sort of like a modem. It's sort of my psychic modem. I like to think about it that way. And I plug into it, and it helps me to connect a little bit quicker. It helps me to focus my energy. Whether or not it amplifies my energy, I think what it does is it directs more energy toward me, or it brings it all toward one focus place. And like I mentioned before, I use my hands to do my readings a lot, so I feel things in my hands more than anything. Or like that's my input mostly, is through the hands. And so that's why that's how I use that crystal. Other crystals have different kind of way. Like they might bring out more of one kind of energy or another. So crystals, they do sort of amplify. They kind of increase whatever vibes you might be feeling. So another question you had was, do you see spirits as well as communicate with the spirits? Yes. But I don't see them in the way that, like, I don't see them like apparitions you would see like with your eyes open, like there's like someone just walks from one room to another. I don't see them that way. There's different ways of sensing and seeing and communicating with spirit. So I'm a medium, I'm a psychic, I'm a medium, and the mediumship is about the sort of communication. I like to call them interdimensional beings or light people sometimes, or what did I say this, like disembodied persons. And for me, that's like, I sometimes feel them touching me more than anything. I feel them like a physical presence. Like I said, I'm very tactile in my sort of sensory abilities, but also when I'm meditating or when I have my eyes closed, sometimes I will see people, but they're more like electric light people, and that's what I see. I tend to see them that way. But those, like the electric light ones, are not usually what you might call a ghost. That's like a different level. It's like a different level of being. Yeah.
So Deanna, Ian has some interesting here. For someone with skepticism that has lost a child, what is your advice? Not new, but living with it for years.
So advice, like advice with coping with the passage, or advice like okay, well, I'll take a look. For someone with skepticism that has lost a child, what is your advice? Not new, but living with it for years. Okay. And if the person doesn't really believe. Okay. Are you asking for a friend, Ian? So well, the first things first, I guess if you're asking, like, should we try to communicate with the dead child? Like, do we call that spirit in? I don't know if that's kind of the question you're asking. And the first thing is, when people die, if all goes well, they move on, right? The hope that we all have for them is, you want to know if she's okay. Okay, I see. All right. So yeah, we hope that they move on, right? We don't want them to stick around. I did have someone ask about, is my grandfather with me? I'm like, no, he's done, checked out, he's gone, right? Hopefully, like that's what we really want for them. We want them to move. And one of Kathy's questions was like, have I ever helped people move spirit on? And yeah, that's part of my work. That's part of my unpaid work, to be honest, is working with spirit that is kind of stuck here, right? They're stuck here for whatever reason. Sometimes they get stuck, they latch onto people. Sometimes they latch onto spaces, like that those girls in Ireland. I think there was someone haunting this one room in the house, and but some people will stick with other people. And if they stick to people, it's usually because they want to help, or they have something they want to do, or for whatever reason. But we hope for them to move on. And so we want them to move on. If you're a skeptic, then you're a skeptic. Like, that's all right. It's okay to not believe in these things. It's okay to not, not understand these things. It's okay. If you don't believe it, then it's fine. That's fine for her. That doesn't affect anyone other than you. But if you're feeling skeptic, if you're feeling skeptical, but you're still asking these questions, I think the real question is like, I want to believe, but how can I? Right. And
I think sometimes, sorry, Deanna, but to cut you off, but I think sometimes too, when people are dealing with issues like loss of a child at a very young age, and even as losing a friend, a lover, whatever the case may be, I think sometimes it's just, for a lot of people, it's just hard to come to grips with the idea of spiritualism and understanding the fact that, these wonderful people that are in your life were just suddenly taken away, right? So to put faith in something, do you know what I mean? I'm a very spiritual person, so I get it. And I was actually, Ian, I know personally, and I've told him before to, spiritualism isn't always an easy thing to understand, but I highly recommend it, because if you really give yourself into it, it can help you through a lot of things like death and, all kinds of hardships in life, if you really find it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think there's a few different questions being asked here, really, like the subtext to this question. Like, I think the big one is like, how do I come to terms with like why any of this would happen, right? Like, why did she die, right? And if there is a God, if there is magic in the world, why would they take this sort of thing like that? Think like that there is some master plan, or like the benevolent force in the universe should protect against these things. But here's the reality, right? And I say this with compassion for his experience as well, is that like life comes to an end, right? And the real, that's the nature of it. It does end, and it can be frustrating when it doesn't when that ending doesn't come when we want it to, right? We want to have control. We want to believe that there's some master plan, and we want to believe that it's the arc is the same for everyone, but it's not the same path for everyone. Why? Why these things happen? I have not quite reached the level of omniscience that I would like to one day obtain. But, why these things come to pass, it's like there's just different ways for every story to be told. There's different paths for all of us to walk. And sometimes, you can be wonderful and good and still, tragedy can befall. But I think what's important to honor, what's important to honor is the light that she shone while she was around, right?
Yep.
And like we mentioned before with Craig, I think it was, is like, instead of focusing on the loss, instead of focusing on the lack, it's like, you can, whether you believe in spirituality or not, what you can do is take her light and amplify it. You can keep that light glowing in your heart. You can keep it glowing in your home. You can keep it in your memory, and you can like take whatever lessons you learned from her. And if whatever made her laugh, whatever made her happy, if you can bring that happiness and joy and the memory of that into the world and amplify her light, then it wasn't for nothing, right? And I think the lesson for you, Ian, the lesson for Ian, really more than anything, I mean, if it's his story or whatever, or Ian's friend, the lesson there is not why would this happen, but what can I do with her life? Like, what can I do now? What can I do with the memory of her life? And how do I keep that light? It's your responsibility now. It's not necessary. Even if there was a God would still say, like, it's your life, live it. Right. And and yours is the life that remains. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do now with that light? Right. And if you focus on the loss, you snuff it out more than anything.
So a couple of things, just Terry, just wondering if you could reach out to Wahida. It sounds like she's trying to get on the feed, and she's been one of the fans really wanting to get on this. So if you could reach out to her and let her know how to
get on, like, what do you mean, on to here?
She's not able to somehow find the episode live, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah, it's funny because I haven't seen her tonight, and I thought, well, that's odd.
Yeah, she'd be all over this.
So, but before, let's get some emails, because I know G's got some emails for us. I want to get onto that. I don't want to miss anybody.
Yeah.
I just want to say, Ian just said he had a comment. He said, "Nice to know. Thank you for your advice." Thanks for your question, Ian. Okay,
yeah,
and thanks.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
So the thing is, like, what we're doing here with the show tonight is a lot more serious than we would normally. And I think you have to. One of the key things, whether you're with a medium, whether you're with a psychic, is that you have to take it seriously, or it simply doesn't work, right? I mean. I mean, that's been my experience. So what I can say about Deanna is that I was read by only her ever, and that's been the case since then. Yeah, absolutely. It's not something I allowed to happen, but I have to say she pointed out 3 things in my life that were absolutely foundational for where I ended up going, and so without getting into the details of that, I can safely say that everything's come to pass and was really spot on. And when I met her, she said that, there's this aura, which was not a really good looking one. In fact, it was going through a lot of stress and stuff like that. And so she recognized that, and the 3 recommendations that she gave me were really spot on. And so I had a chat with her one time about, like, the possibilities of taking something that you're either open to or not, but bringing it into more of a professional environment. And I said, there are a lot of executives and influential people that use psychics all the time, and for good reason, because there's major decisions that they have to make sometimes, and it affects lives. Look at what's going on with COVID, right? I mean, we've got leaders all over the world trying to really rationalize, using panels of experts to help them make decisions. But using a spiritualist or psychic, obviously, like Deanna, is very, very powerful as a team coach. So there's that aspect, and I know she does a lot of this outside of what we're seeing tonight, and a lot of what she was able to read tonight is pretty amazing, actually, because she's never met these people one-on-one.
Yeah. If people want to get in contact with me, they can go to my website, neondreamer.com, or Instagram is a great place to find me, at Neon Android is my handle. Neon Android is the handle, but the website is Neon Dreamer. You can send me an email to contact@neondreamer.com. But yeah, so you can go to think I have that radio show as well. And you're right, Terry, there's a lot more to it than just, like we were joking about the lottery numbers or whatever, or even the mediumship. I mean, mediumship that's not really like the main part. I mean, it comes up because we're surrounded by energy and stuff like that, but
It becomes
most
a tool,
people,
right?
Yeah, it becomes a tool. They can help facilitate the real work, which is, we're looking for clarity. We're looking for answers. People don't ask me about the lottery numbers. They ask me, like, what am I supposed to do with my life? Right. And if you're a business person, that question is, what am I supposed to do with my business? If you're a parent, that's like, what do I do about my kids? If you're a student, where do I go to school? And it's about, it does take on like a more of a coaching aspect these days, because it's about life planning and decisions. Yeah, he can stay up as long as he wants.
Hey, Derek, is it okay if he stays up for a little bit?
Oh, sorry.
That's the beauty of where, casting and streaming from your home. Yeah. So Derek, while we got your attention, what do you think about all of this, Mr. House of Haunt?
Honestly, I'm big into spirits. My grandma. Oh, sorry, my cat is wanting to. Yeah, my grandmother was a medium. So I believe this is great, and it's been a while since I've seen anyone have a reading. I used to watch my grandmother do it all the time. It was awesome.
Yeah. And
watching, people, I love the reaction people get, what people take away from it is amazing.
Yeah. Do any of you guys want a reading?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we do before we do that? Did we get to emails yet? I've been trying to deal with Wahida Ann here, and I can't get to her because I'm not on Facebook with her, so I can't send this to her.
Let me take a quick check. So who wants to jump in? Gary, would you like a reading?
No, but I have an email.
But he's got emails, so let's do emails right now.
Let's do the email.
One of the emails you already answered, but this is from Keisha. And she says, "This is Keisha. I'm from Barrie, and I was wondering if I could get a read on my new boyfriend."
Oh boy. Okay,
I'm totally interested now.
Let's start a Deadpool draft.
Are we going to ruin relationships tonight, folks?
I'm listening.
No, we only make them better. That is the that is the work. Right?
So you're not going to tell me to get a gun or anything, are you?
Why on earth would I? Unless you like hunting, there's no reason for that. Why is Keisha your daughter?
I was waiting for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was waiting
totally
for
got that.
to pick the connection. Yeah.
Is she psychic? The internet. There's a lag on my psychic connection here, so you have to bear with me. All right, so let's take a look at her boyfriend. We'll take a look at the relationship. I like to look at it that way. I'm not gonna. I don't like just looking at another person who's not, asking the question, but I will look at the relationship that you guys have, and we'll take a look. I'll pull a card for you, a card for him, and we'll see what's in between the two of you as well, and the kind of stuff that you might want to watch out for. So I'm going to pull the card for you. Is the 10 of coins. Whoop, there we go. 10 of coins. And the card for him is the 2 of swords reversed. And what is in between you is the moon. Okay. Wow. So I'm going to put my hands on the cards, and Keisha and everybody, we're all going to breathe together 2 times. So breathing in and exhaling, breathing in and releasing. Thanks. I like it. I can hear you guys breathing along. It's good. It helps. I mean, the reason it's important that not just Keisha and I do this, that everyone joins us, is because your energy, like the crystals, right, actually help to amplify my energy. Your listening, your connection, your own insight, dear listener. Your insight, your intuitive connection is actually helping to facilitate my connection with Keisha, especially because we're so disconnected. And it's kind of like a daisy chain that we're all creating together here in this sort of experience. So thank you. So let's find her now. All right, here we go. I know you're bracing, Keisha. I know you're bracing not just to hear what I have to say, but you're bracing for this whole thing to unfold with him. And you may not have had a lot of luck in the past. I get that. And now you're kind of thinking like, okay, well, when's the other shoe gonna drop, or the first shoe, or whatever the saying is. I think you're waiting. You just want to know, just like, tell me what's wrong with him. Just cut to the chase, right?
Every
cut to the chase.
I've ever been in.
What's wrong with him? Let me know. What's wrong? Yeah, that's what they ask, no doubt. So sorry. So let's get back to Keisha here. So that can be really hard, and you're young enough that, like, I don't want you to think that you're just doomed in that way. And I think what's important before we look at him is to be like, okay, so maybe things kind of would unfold in a certain kind of, dare I say, pattern. And I think for you, it's important to be like, what has been the pattern this whole time, right? What has been the pattern that always seems to unfold? And the question you need to ask yourself is, looking at your partner here, or looking at your new boyfriend, thinking, does he fit the pattern? And if he does, maybe I should bounce. But right now, I don't think you know for certain. And that's, I guess, why I'm here. So let's take a look at him for now. Okay, 2 of Swords for him. Okay. So he does not necessarily fit the pattern exactly as to how it has always unfolded for you. And that is important. Right now, he does not fit the mold. And that is important to know, because I don't want you projecting all of your ex-boyfriends onto him. Because if you start projecting past arguments or past disagreements or past guys' attitudes about certain things, when you start projecting that onto him, he's going to react, like when you start, whatever it is, when you start projecting onto him, he's going to react in a way that is appropriate to that projection. And then it's going to be like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because you've sort of invoked the spirit of the ghosts of like boyfriends past, and you kind of put them on him, and then he will sort of just play out whatever role you're sort of asking him to play out. And so you got to check yourself and ask, when you start to react to him, or how long he takes to respond to a text or whatever, you got to ask yourself, am I upset with him? Is it him that is freaking me out? Or is it all these other people's behaviors that I'm actually responding to? And so for him, he's not those people, number one. And right now, you got to be gentle with him, because he's recovering from his own sort of like heartbreaks and betrayals. And he's got his own kind of wound, and he's afraid too. So you can't just go and be, you want to defend yourself, defend your heart, protect yourself, but you can't go on the attack, because he is also in a vulnerable position. And if you attack him just a bit, I mean, who isn't really? And so if you attack him, if you go on this way, he's going to defend himself, and then we will create a situation that never existed. But can you imagine that he feels the same way you do? Can you imagine that he is as wounded as you are, or as gun shy as you are, that he has the same shit that you do, and that you should have a little bit more compassion for him? The moon card is what is in between you guys. You guys are very similar in terms of your energy, your story, your reactions, your pain. You have this fundamental like similarity. Like, you are so similar, and your experiences, you agree on the way you see the world, you agree on like what's funny, you like your food's the same kind of way, and the things that you disagree on, I think you can playfully disagree about them. So I think this is good. This is a good match for you. It's different from all the other ones. Okay. So just treat it that way. Treat it special. It is special. Okay. But you got to be delicate with him. And I know we don't want to think about guys as delicate. We have this idea of like machismo, or like what a man should be, but like not they have feelings too. Men have feelings too. Okay.
So machismo. There's you had me at machismo. So there's Terry over there. I am a machismo. But let me. I don't want to interrupt the connection so much, but
no.
Deanna, is there something that about his job that it just kind of keeps, I don't know, resonating for some reason? So Keisha, can you? No, her boyfriend, her partner. Or Heiko, maybe you know. What does he do for a living? Does he do anything?
You're asking me?
Well, I don't know. You know
Heiko's never
Keisha,
met
right?
him
Maybe
yet.
you would know. Oh, okay. So Keisha, what is?
Yeah, no, I have, and I'm trying to be quiet and distant because I have my own thoughts too, and I don't want to.
Well, that's
taint them. But okay, Keisha, if you can let us know, there's something curious about his job that I don't know. Since Deanna's been reading you, it just kind of something's different.
You're getting a tingle. What's your tingle, Terry?
Well,
Ringo. Sorry.
No, there's something not. I don't know that he's being completely straight up on maybe what he does. So I that's kind of
Really?
My spidey senses tingling a bit. So, but I mean, hey, if he works at a grocery store, I guess, you know.
Well, I'll see. I don't know if Keisha's going to contact us. I can't get her texts.
Oh, okay.
But she'll have to contact. They just flash up, but I can't read them fast enough.
Yeah.
He works on a farm.
Okay.
So, I'm not exactly sure what he does there. He's not from this country, and he's what did he do? He was into laying tile and carpentry and stuff like that. That's what he studied back home. But here he's just working on a farm, and he's just extended his visa. And for me as dad, I'm going, he's not really working, you know.
I'm listening to you guys, and I'm like, I appreciate where you're coming from, but this has nothing to do with Keisha's question. All right, you're like, what is he? This is you guys being dads, right?
I was just gonna say that they're beating him up for no reason at all.
What does he do? What's his ambition?
She doesn't. That's not her question. Her question is like, is there a connection here? Is it going to work out? Is he going to betray me? You know, like that's what a woman wants to know. Whatever, you got a job, you don't got a job. We're independent. We're independent and like grown ass, you know, like human beings here who don't necessarily need our man to make whatever. It doesn't matter.
Well, I think what you said about projecting past boyfriends and relationships.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely so critical, because the new guy or gal hasn't got a chance to really connect at a level that is really meaningful if they're always being compared, or if the case is, hey, you know what, that person's gonna eventually just sort of be like the other ones. And I've heard Terry actually say that, you know, you use the phrase over and over, Terry, but like, I'm just going to disappoint any woman that I get with. So I just stop before it goes, right? So, but
I like to set the bar low, though, to be honest. I set the bar low so they can step over. It's easy.
Yeah. We tend to start our expectations like right here. I
just have none. I have no expectations at all.
So I'm going to hand my headphones over to Kathy.
I wanted to add something, Deanna.
Sure.
You mentioned to be delicate, right? Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, just like emotionally sensitive, you know, like delicate, like just being sensitive. Sometimes I think women, or anyone, like in partnership, like whether or not it's two guys together or a man and a woman together, I think sometimes what I find with my sisters, we sometimes will forget that men, you know, have feelings and can be hurt as well, you know, and I think it's important to keep that in mind. They're not just punching bags, emotionally speaking, right? Like you got to, you know, you can't do that. and that's what I mean. It's like, understand that he also, you know, could feel like how you feel, and you wouldn't want someone doing that to you. And not that she's doing anything right now, but like just to watch herself as she's going to be feeling triggered. That's what I'm talking about.
Right.
She's going to feel triggered, and she has to check herself and make sure she's not beating up a guy for no good reason.
Yeah.
But if Keisha has any questions, she can email me, contact@neondreamer, if she wants to hear more, or follow me on Instagram @neonandroid. Just gonna put my plug.
And we are almost at the end of the show there, boys. So keep that in mind.
So,
does
Kathy have a question?
Yeah, like Kathy, did you want to ask your question?
Well, I was just gonna ask for.
I can give you this quick. We gotta like wrap up.
I can do it quick. Lightning round, Kathy.
Well, there you go.
Oh,
hi, Kathy.
Hi. How are you?
I'm doing all right. So, what is your question?
I was just curious what you see as a reading for myself or my job.
Yeah,
future,
just generally with your boyfriend. You want me to read you and Ringo right here in front of everybody?
I can tell you that. Just
not.
call me later, Kathy. I'll tell you everything you need to know.
Oh, you guys. So yeah, let's but you have like, you just want a general kind of like see what's up. Let's just see quickly what the cards have to say. We've been doing a lot of those today. All right, so I'm gonna shuffle. We're not gonna ask about Ringo.
Oh, look at my cutie.
Well, oh, sweetheart. Okay, so I'm gonna pull 3 cards for you. We have the King of Coins. There's your Ringo. No, just joking. We have the King of Coins. We have the King of Coins. Right? Temperance.
On so many levels.
Temperance.
Temperance.
And 8 of Wands. Here we go. All right. So, all right. I need everyone to settle down, people. Okay. So, Kathy, everybody, let's just breathe together. So, breathing in, exhaling. One more. And letting go. All right. Let's find you here. Here we go. All right, Kathy. All right. Okay. So, I mean, you know, Johnny Ringo's in here also. He is. It was a joke, but he's in here. So the King of Coins here, your partner. And he is a dominant, you know, like there's a weight to him. The King of Coins is earth energy. He's the king of earth energy, right? Oh my gosh, no puns intended.
I thought you were talking about his belly.
No.
Oh.
No.
Oh man.
Oh, great.
Okay, so all right, settle down, people. So I can't hear the spirits talking. Let's see here. So King of Coins, right? So he does have this weight, this sort of gravity, and you like that. It's a grounding energy. It's a distracting grounding energy. It's a grounding energy, you guys. It's a grounding energy, usually. It's a grounding energy. There's a weight to it, and you like that. There's a sense of comfort. There's a sense of security. You like the weight of it, even just like the weight in the room. I don't know how to describe it, but for you, there's a sense of like safety and security when you're with him, which is really nice. Yeah. But at the same time, I have this Temperance card for you. And what I'm feeling is like, it's important for you not to kind of get sucked up into the gravity well, or to just become like a satellite sort of orbiting this like, you know, all my space references are just going to make you guys crack jokes. So I have to change my metaphor. I was going to say it's like massive body, right? Like a satellite, but like, oh my God, I can't even. Now you have me second guessing all my storytelling things. Okay, so what's important for you is to remember that, like, yes, as comforting as that is great, but at the same time, that don't forget your other worlds, the other orbits of your life, right? That you in fact are your own grounding energy. One of the reasons you like his grounding energy, because you yourself, are that person to other people. You have this way, you have your own sphere of influence friends, and it's important that you keep maintaining those. I know when you fall in love, you just want to kind of like cocoon and just bubble and nest and get lost in that sort of happy place where you guys are, you know, like spending your time together. But you especially, it's important for you to maintain these other orbits, these other connections, because you do have a lot of them and they do sustain you. And you, more so than them sustaining you, is that, Kathy, you matter to more people, right? You are important to many other people. And you need to maintain those connections, not just for your own benefit, because you're actually helping others with your friendship, with your influence, with your connections, right? The way you organize people, the way you just call your girlfriend up and whatever you might, when you used to just call your girlfriend, now you call, you know, your partner, which is fine. It's nice to do that. But, you know, the people who you used to call are missing that. You know, they're missing that a little bit, and it's easy. You can just fix it tomorrow. You can just start doing it. You don't have to make a big deal of it. You just remember that, like, oh yeah, I am important. And especially now, not everyone is feeling as connected as you are. Not everyone has love. Not everyone has the things that you have. And it's not about charity so much as it is about like just community. That's it. You know, remember the community you're in.
I'm sorry, I got to interrupt. We're pretty much done.
We've hit there you go.
We are done. I'm sorry.
So I'm going to leave it with
that. Yeah, no, it was a wonderful show. It was great having everybody on. I'd like to thank the people that were part of our show, which is Sarah, Katie, Kathy, Bobby, Johnny D, Ryan, Keisha, Craig, Tanya from Ajax, and Ian. And thanks again, Deanna, for being here. Thanks again, Ratcliffe, for being a part of our show. And George, the answer is it's side B. The Monster Mash, it's side B. Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
That is correct. That is correct.
I win. We'll see you guys all next Monday night at 9:30 on the Heikadelic Show here on Reality Radio 101.
101.
Thank you for listening to the Heikadelic Show with your host, Heiko Mantic, right here on Reality Radio 101.
That was good, everybody.